Hello guys and girls, welcome back to another video. Today we're checking out how to use the scenes with the Airstep Cortex and the Nano Cortex. Let's go! So, since I have not covered the scenes in my first review of the Airstep Cortex, here we are, and also because I think that it's probably the #1 reason that I still keep on using the Nano Cortex and the Airstep Cortex on a live situation. It basically transformed my Nano Cortex experience from very good to awesome, just because that having the scenes it makes it much more closer to the Quad Cortex experience. But let's dig in and I'll show you how it works and how to make yours. So this is the setup that I use live, and it basically consists of the 4 presets in the Nano Cortex, which I usually access by the switches on the Nano Cortex, just to keep it separated. Of course I can do it also from the Airstep, but it's just a mental thing where I keep the presets on the Nano Cortex, and on the Airstep I use the scenes of each preset. So for example, I created these a couple of scenes for the clean channel. So my first preset is usually a cleanish edge of breakup sound with some chorus and with some reverb always on, as you can see. The first scene is the same stuff but with the delay on. And the cool thing is that if you tap on the selected foot switch of the selected scene, you can access the tap tempo function, which is very useful, especially in a live situation where you switch between songs and maybe there is a little bit of a difference in the tempo of the delay. It's very nice. And I have also set up this one that turns on the overdrive, and so on a kind of a cleanish settings I also have a distorted sound. And the same stuff but with the delay on. And I can go back to the basic presets. And of course, every time you change the preset from the Nano Cortex itself or from the preset selector on the Airstep, you go back to the default scene. Like for example, on this preset, I don't have any scene. So as you can see, there's no green light on the foot switch, but we can create one together. So let's do it on the fly. We're gonna go into the app. So let's go to the Airstep Cortex app. We gotta connect it first. Once it's connected, you can access the scene. As you can see, there is no scene on here. And I can select the scene. And for example, select that it turns on the FX2, which is the overdrive. Or for example, we can set the first scene just like this, which is nothing. The second scene as the turning on that, and maybe turning on also the FX1, and boom, it's that simple. So go into the first scene. This is all that we got, nothing on as we said. If we go into the second scene, this is what we get. It's very simple. And of course, since it's not saved, once we go to the another preset and we go back to that preset, it defaults to what the preset is. So you have to remember, you have to save. So every time you make a change, so for example, since the default preset here, I want to have the FX2, FX4 and 5 on, I have to remember 2, 4 and 5, 41, boom, it's set up. And for example, for the second, I may want everything on. Now I only have to go back to the first scene, which is the default scene that I want when I go into the preset. I save this preset. Now, every time I recall that preset, I also have access to the scenes. So if I go back to the Cortex app, you can see when I change this, I have everything on as I wanted. When I go back to here, I have everything on as I wanted. I can't access the others just because they are not set up. And if I go to another preset and go back to this preset, the default preset is what I want, which is very, very cool. And yeah, basically this is how you use it live. You have the clean sound where I can use it as the default clean with delay. I have also the distortion and the lead sound. Then I have also a distorted sound where I can add a doubler effect when I want it, so I can double it. It depends if I'm going on a stereo. It depends if I'm going stereo or if I'm going mono out to the PA system. And I may not want it on all the time. And I also sometimes use it to widen the scene just for the chorus and go back to mono in the verse. I also have the boost with the overdrive and the delay on the distortion. Yeah, it's very simple to set up. It's very, very easy to use. And I think it's even more useful to use it like this than to use it as a, you know, accessing the different effects and turning on and off individually. I just think that since there are no labels, yes, you can of course use the built-in label or make yours to remember what you're turning on and off. But I really think that the cool thing about the Nano Cortex is its size and the presets. And the preset combined with the scenes makes it much more similar to a basically a quad cortex experience. The cool thing about the quad cortex and the fact that it's still a superior machine in many ways is of course the fact that it has a lot more power and the stereo chain and all of that, but having the scenes accessible on that machine is one of its biggest features. It's what makes it so popular in the first place, I think. And yeah, this makes it closer to that, but keeping the size a lot down. And if you don't want it for a particular reason, maybe there is a gig where you don't have to have that many sounds, or you don't have to have the scenes, you can leave the Airstep home and you only bring the Nano Cortex. It's very useful, and I am very happy using this. And also there is a glitch. I think it's still I think it's fixable, and I think they will fix it in the future. But there is a glitch where sometimes when I go from the lead sound, which is the purple sound on the Nano Cortex, and I switch back to the distortion sound that I use on the verse, for example. Sometimes, if I keep the foot down for like a half a second longer than like this, it makes a kind of a glitch, distorted sound, something like 8-bit, which is very annoying because it's very loud, of course, if you're going through the PA system. Everybody hears that. And it's something that is only happens when you switch with the built-in foot switches on the Nano Cortex. If you switch the presets from the Airstep, it doesn't happen. And also from the Airstep, as I said in the original Airstep Cortex video, there is no gap. So if you whether you're changing the scene or whether you're changing the preset, it's gapeless switching, which is very, very cool, very useful. It's much easier, as you can see, to go from one to the other. And it's also in the scenes. Let's hear with the clean. It's very nice. So pretty cool, isn't it? I think it's very, very powerful, and yeah, I think that it makes a lot of sense. It's much more useful for scenes to me at least, than just for switching between presets, because I have the same amount of presets that I have on a Cortex, so it doesn't really give me that much in terms of bringing it along. Yes, you can use it also to turn on and off individual effects, but it's not something that I usually do. I just use presets just because it's easier. I have 4 sounds basically for everything, but having the scenes made it a lot more powerful, because each of that 4 preset can have 4 individual scenes. So yeah, it's a much more complete. Of course, you are kind of limited to the first preset, because, for example, if you select that on the FX2 there is an overdrive, that's going to be the sound for all the scenes. So you won't be able to have a tube screamer on the first scene and a fuzz on the second scene. It's just gonna be the one that you save in the preset. You'll be accessing to with these scenes, and yeah, that's kind of limiting. But if you have a core sound that you want to add on top of, so for example, you can have as I said, as I use it as a clean sound, where you can add individual effects. You can have a distorted sound that you want to, for example, add some modulation to, but maybe not always. So you can have the scene 1 to be plain, maybe even without any reverb, just a dry signal, and you can add on top of that with the scene. So it made the Nano Cortex even better. I was kind of limited by having only 4 presets. I was fine. But I kind of wanted more, and I was thinking of you know, combining the Nano Cortex with some analog pedals to get there. But with the Airstep and the scenes, it just got perfect. I'm basically at the point where I am really happy. The only complaint that I have is I would like to be able to turn off the double tap function, because sometimes when I'm wearing bigger shoes, I can step by accident on 2 foot switches instead of just 1, and from there I completely change the presets, and since there is no display on the Nano Cortex, I really don't know where I am, so I have to go back to the Nano Cortex, tap to get back to the sound that I want. But I hope that in the future we will be able to disable the double tap function. Right now we can't, but I can live with that. I just only have to be a little bit careful, especially when I'm singing and playing and I have to change the sound. Sometimes I don't have time to look down and see if I'm doing it correctly, but minor complaint there. But yeah, I'm very happy with this thing, and I still recommend it. If you have a Nano Cortex, you should seriously consider this. There are other options, yes. I have the Chocolate M-Wave, there are other options, but I think that out of the box, this is a very you know, kind of more neural DSP experience, something that is out of the box. It just works. It's very nice. So this is it for today. Let me know in the comments what you think. Subscribe if you want to support me. Follow me on Instagram. I also have a Patreon if you want to support me even further. And this is going to be the last video before the summer break. So have a nice summer, and I'll see you in the next one.